Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookworm here. Today I've received in the mail Total Body Training, which is a book that was written by Dominguez and Bob Gajda. So I think it's by Richard Dominguez and Bob Gajda, who I'm now currently collaborating with and interviewing. He recommended that I purchase this book, his original book from 1982. And although it's not necessarily a bodybuilding book, it does seem rather interesting in that it focuses on other aspects of improving performance enhancement in your sport, in any particular sport, including bodybuilding, through the focus of stabilization, range of motion, and as well as rehabilitation of injuries and maintaining general fitness. From what I previously have seen, and by flicking through the book, it covers a lot on really focusing on having the correct stability to perform exercises and having the correct range of motion, because if these two elements or factors are impaired, your performance in your sport will be diminished. And in that respect, this book that was written basically 40 years ago was revolutionary at the time, and flicking through it, you can clearly see Bob's influence even in physiotherapeutic techniques, because a lot of the training methodologies here were rather revolutionary back then. We're talking in the 1980s, early 80s, when basically bodybuilding was just becoming mainstream. Fitness in general wasn't necessarily a big thing in the world, and Bob was already coming out with some very interesting machines, like this one that he recommends people perform to gain strength in their joints and increase their range of motion. I'm not even sure what that particular machine was called. Here's another one that he created, and it's called the Gajda'S, and you basically hook your feet into it, and it works the anterior tibialis to prevent shin splints. So you've got all these really bizarre inventions. Bob is well known literally for being a genius in developing his own equipment for his gym. So here we have a lot of the stuff that we see nowadays in CrossFit examples, such as box jumping and box squats and all this stuff. Bob was truly a visionary back then, doing all this stuff. Again, working on stability using the little trampoline. Right, the little trampoline was something else he was advocating back 40 years ago. And doing all kinds of ranges of motion, jumping up and down on the trampoline and performing one-legged stands and all this stuff to work on your stability. It really is, in that respect, very, very interesting to see that Bob was so well ahead of his time. I see this too at the physio, basically balancing on these apparatuses, again, to develop stability in your core and in your hips and in your ankle joints and knees. All of this stuff, as he calls the oscillating beam, very, very interesting. Working on the neck muscles, on the shoulder and elbow range of motion. That's it. That's what it was called, the power band. That's what this particular routine with this apparatus, the power band holder. Again, we're talking about power bands, therabands, things that we see nowadays and that Bob was using so long ago. Again, Bob was truly a revolutionary. And all sorts of core exercises, again, the core being central. Wow. The use of a bike helmet and attaching weights to it for neck development. That's very, very interesting. Very, very interesting indeed. Yeah, Bob was truly a revolutionary, a real genius. And so you get this program at the end, but at the very beginning, he talks about everything in regards to sports. Yeah, So as you can see, the book is rather targeted, especially to improving athletic performance. A very, very interesting book, I have to admit. A lot of do's and don'ts, and as I mentioned, really focusing on improving the range of motion and the stability, especially for athletes. I would say this is almost a Bible for improving athletic performance. And I haven't read it. I just got it in the mail again because Bob recommended that I look into it. It's not necessarily his PHA system, but it's another aspect of improving performance in sports, rehabilitation of injuries, and maintaining, I guess, an advanced level of fitness for sports performance. A very interesting book that I'm pretty sure was kind of revolutionary at the time, and probably still referenced nowadays by many physiotherapists as an excellent tool for enhancing sports performance. That's Total Body Training by Bob Gajda and Richard Dominguez. Again, this is still available on Amazon. I found my copy just for $5. That's how cheap I got it for. You can see it's used from a library. And yeah, if you're interested, I guess, in rehabilitation, maintaining fitness, or in further enhancing your sport, this book might be for you. Hope you've enjoyed this quick little look at Total Body Training. If you have, please give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't to the Golden Era Bookworm. Leave me a comment and thank you for watching. If you'd like to support my research, please donate via PayPal. You can become a patron or visit my website, www.goldenerabookworm.com. And you can also take advantage of my affiliation with Old School Labs and NSP Nutrition, where you can use for NSP Nutrition my code GEB20 for a 20% discount and Bookworm12 for Old School Labs for a 12% discount. Hope you've enjoyed the video. This is the Golden Era Bookworm. Bye for now.